Welcome to a Drop Tent Media production.
Today on Seriously Dad, we talk health and wellness, taking care of ourselves, being a good role model, and the mental health behind all of that. You're going to love it. Check it out.
Seriously, Dad?
Seriously Dad? Two father comedians out of Philadelphia. Seriously Dad?
Dad? Seriously?
Dad?
Seriously?
Here we are.
Another episode.
Seriously, Dad.
You know it, man. So first week of school, how did it go for the girls?
No, I don't. We don't have school yet. We go after Labor Day, man. We're like human, okay? Where I live.
That's right. You know, that's true. There's a good amount now. There's like such a divide among people who like. So this was our first week, full week back, 5 days in, and
Good?
you know all
You
the
good?
stuff. Yeah, it was great.
Smooth sailing?
New school for Alicia, so we were nervous because she had gone K-3 in one school, and then they got autism support in our home school, the one that's nearest our house.
All right.
So we're like, hey, we like the teacher. We took a tour with the principal. Everything seemed good. So we're like, all right, yeah, we'll make the switch. So she'll do 4th, 5th, and 6th at this new elementary before middle school. Everything will get swimmingly. The bus, I will say the bus
Takes
was
too long.
35 minutes late.
Yo, a
on
lot
the
of bus
second
problems.
day.
A lot of bus problems. We have those.
35.
That's insane. That's the fact that it can be that bad is kind of fucking nuts.
And
right?
like my daughters, we were so excited. They tell you to go out 15 minutes early. So we were out 20 minutes early. So we were out there for almost an hour.
you're like checking phones,
and
everybody in the right
like
spot,
Alicia was so amped up, like her routine and strictness to routines. Like she had to be outside, and she's just staring at the crest of the hill,
Waiting for it to
for the
return.
bus to come over. And just like a scout, she'd be like amazing sniper scout. She just
grilling it,
staring
huh?
at it.
It is weird that because we've had school bus issues where in Jersey. It is weird that in this time where we're at in the world with all the technology there, that can still take
Dude,
place.
I'll tell you, not so much as a smoke signal. I'm like, how can I know? How can I know how far away my onion rings are on DoorDash?
Right.
But I can't know how far the bus is for my daughter.
Yes,
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
how is that a thing?
I'm waiting for both of you to just like an elaborate scheme Mission Impossible music starts playing, and both of you are just trying to slap a tile, one of those tracking tiles, onto the buses. Because you're right.
Under the bus.
Like,
It's
just
seriously.
you should put it on your kid.
He's like, oh, funding. Somebody was like, funding, and I'm like, you're like, oh yeah, right, you're a congressman. I'm like, no, I'm going Mayor McCheese. All right, like if he's figured out how to get that food on DoorDash.
Yo, in where my daughter goes to school, they've let kids off at the wrong bus stop with other parents and be like, you know her mom, right? Okay, she's
What?
there.
That
Yeah,
would- oh,
yeah.
man, that's
Isn't that
insane.
crazy?
It's good to know
that
that's-
almost sounds like a joke, right?
Yeah, it does.
It's like a Simpsons episode.
They tried to let me off in 2nd grade. The bus, it was like we had moved. So it was a transfer. I had to transfer. I was on a bus with a bunch of public school kids. They took me to the wrong St. Mary's. They took me to a St. Mary's in another town because everybody's at St. Mary's. And he tried to get me off the bus. And I'm like 8 years old. I'm like, I'm not getting off. This isn't my school.
Bus driver's like, I don't know what to
And
tell
then-
you, kid. This is where they said to go. And
Yeah.
you're like, no. I'm like, hey, don't do this
right.
to me. He's like, I got to make the rounds. Let's go.
That's right. And then he finally takes me. Then he has to drive me to the other, I was like, he brought me to like St. Mary's in Dixon City, but I was going to St. Mary's in Dunmore.
Oh, my
which
gosh.
is like saying like Manayunk to Conshohocken or something.
Okay, it's still.
But it was a different town. And I never forget the principal and my mom were like out front waiting for me.
Oh, yeah?
And I got into school like, 30,
go.
40 minutes late.
And you had the story. You were
Yeah, I
like,
had a
dude,
story.
you have no idea what happened to me this morning.
But like the thing now is I'm in charge of the mornings for the girls because Amanda goes early.
And you don't want to drive then? You don't consider driving? Just drop them off?
So no, because then you're committed. Like then you're like committed to it. And then there's
Yeah.
the line. And in all honesty,
Okay, and it does soften them the fuck up, doesn't it?
I want them to
it
have the
softens them up.
experience. They love being on the bus. It's
Yeah,
the
get
experience
out.
of the bus. Now that and they're on the bus together. It's adorable. They love it. So I'm fine with it. It's cool. And now I have it set up with the parent. So there's a friend of mine's the next stop on the morning. So I text in the morning, say, hey,
The
bus
bus is
got
here.
here.
Make sure
and
you-
then in the afternoon, which is perfect,
Oh,
she texts
shit.
me, hey, they
Okay.
just dropped Zach off. So
Boom.
that I know if I'm
Nice.
like working, then I'm like, oh, I got to go out and wait.
That's a win.
So it's cool, yeah. But like, the only thing is getting them ready. But my wife does most of the lunches, but they're sort of picky whether they're going to take or make lunch that day. Do
Okay.
your girls take or
They
buy?
pack lunch.
Pack.
They're packing lunch.
What did
right
you
now.
do? Is that what you did growing
I
up?
was not a lunch. I ate the cafeteria food.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I ate my entire life.
It was like one of those things that like in elementary school.
You were cool if you packed in elementary school.
Yeah,
in high school,
packing
you weren't
was
cool if you packed.
yeah, but it was almost okay. Like, and then by high school, like you pretty much ate cafeteria.
Yo, what were you
food.
eating? Yo, my high school lunches were so unhealthy.
Boiled hot dogs.
Have-
My favorite.
probably-
There was one that we used to get made fun of, but it was really delicious. They used to call it macaroni and barf. It was macaroni and cheese, but it was homemade. These were all lunch. It was a Catholic school, so it was like everybody's mom.
Yeah.
just in the back
Like
making
volunteering
stuff
at lunchtime.
And what they would do is they would make traditional like mac and cheese, but they put tomato sauce in it.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Love it. Well, because
good.
I think the old adages, like my grandma used to bake your classic mac and cheese with like the breadcrumbs on top, and then you would get a side dish of stewed tomatoes.
Right.
Because it's the acidity. It's like it's contrast. Because all of that cheese is so like one flavor, having that red sauce
Never-
in there
never-
kind of
That was a
breaks it up.
tray of Hot Pocket filling that they gave you.
Yeah, right.
That's what it was.
Honestly, so delicious.
Probably
though.
very good. I'm not saying.
So-
I've never
there's something
I've
of-
never mixed tomatoes with the mac and cheese.
Make a classic mac and cheese with the elbows, American cheese, whatever, and then after it's baked, at
Okay.
the end, put it in, mix it in tomato sauce. I promise
You know about this, though.
You will not be
Because the
disappointed.
big divide between mac and cheese, not to divert, but it is that there are mac and cheese people, and then there are mac and cheese people that put ketchup on it. That's the same thing.
Okay.
Only
But
we're talking about a
ketchup is
fancy
weird.
version.
Yeah, but ketchup is
Talking about a
like
very good version.
I put a ton of
Yeah.
pepper. That's what I keep it. I keep it raw dog, and I put a bunch of pepper on it. I don't put anything on it, and then but a lot of pepper. That's it.
Well, I would have
raw dog is.
I would have- well, that's what my mom called the cut up hot dog mac and cheese that she gave me.
Was it what,
She goes,
raw
raw
dog?
dog mac and cheese, baby. She didn't even cook the hot dogs. Let them cook in the mac and cheese, baby.
they are coming. They come fully cooked.
Again, I'm so sorry for the tangents. no, but that's I didn't realize because we had cafeteria, but it wasn't like mom's. It wasn't like yeah. But that's kind of cool.
So and it's hard because like the girls are really picky with food, and Alicia especially, which is anybody that has autism, it's sort of a thing that the sameness they get very into habits and sameness and textures are weird, like things that you and I like whatever to her might feel like nails on a chalkboard or might have a weird taste.
derail the whole afternoon.
So
or
it's like
something.
so she's gotten better over the years, but so Amanda sits down with them on Sunday night and they'll look at the deal, and they can actually breakfast is free for the state of Pennsylvania.
Look at
all
that.
schools are
What do you
offering
know?
a free breakfast.
we didn't have
this year.
breakfast when I was younger.
So and it's like a cart you grab and go, a Nutrient bar, a cereal cup with milk, or there's usually sometimes there's like a bagel
well, there's like
sandwich.
a direct correlation between like nutrition and like a developing brain. So to give them breakfast is definitely a good thing. We didn't have it in my fucking school.
Well, before state testing now, it's really big that they bring snacks and like
Juice
little
and shit like
juices.
that, keep 'em-
Wawa, like the little Wawa.
There you go.
None better than the little carton of chocolate milk. Can I just say there's
That
now
still
it's
exists.
different.
That still exists?
They do, but that now
Twist
it's
off
all Michelle Obama. Like it's all like not as good as it used to be.
Is that like in reference to how chocolate?
Somebody has a joke. I forget who it was. Somebody has a joke that Michelle Obama ruined school lunches. Oh, my one of the Casey Mack, this guy that was on the teacher tour. He talks about Michelle Obama ruined school lunch because everything was like like now all of a sudden it was whole wheat crust pizza, whole wheat bun, like everything got switched up. But like now it's like the chocolate milk is made with skim milk and much less sugar. It's like better for you, but it's not the chocolate milk we had.
I'm into
Yeah,
it.
When I open that little container now, it does not taste like it. Same with Capri Sun, any of that stuff.
well, you were having the prison food.
Well, that's right.
Because they are comparable to what
that's
we were
right.
feeding prisoners
But when
as
you're
well.
used to, that's the problem. When you're used to trash, you get used to trash, and you like chicken nuggets.
I'm a little raccoon.
So McDonald's in the '90s, their chicken nuggets were fire. Like there wasn't chicken in there. I'm sure of it.
No, it was the squeeze
pink-
gel.
It was
pink
it
goo.
was like
Pink goo.
something,
Pink goo, yeah,
but
it
it
was
was
fucking-
so good. And I'd never forget. I graduated high school, and my gift was a trip to
factory.
England to visit a family friend.
Okay.
And so we went to a McDonald's in England. And so I'm like, oh, I'm getting chicken nuggets. I bit into it. I'm like, what is
Oh, you were
this?
so let down. It was,
and
it
they're
was
like,
good
it
shit,
was
yeah.
real chicken. And I'm like, what are you?
The fuck is
what is
this?
this trash? I was like, what is this trash?
I did like chicken nuggets back in the day. They were pretty fucking
Did
good.
you?
Like
Well,
the
you know,
honey
McDonald's.
mustard.
McDonald's has to do a factory in every country that they're in because every country has its own rules.
Well, that's probably a good idea. I would good
Yeah.
for them.
So, what was your go-to?
For the chicken nuggets?
Yeah.
Oh, the honey mustard, right? There was a honey mustard sauce. There was
Oh,
sweet and
yeah.
sour sauce.
Sweet and sour.
I mean, I don't get it. I ate a lot of McDonald's in my life. Like, I don't eat much. I don't eat any
You don't
McDonald's
look
now.
like someone who eats.
But
Yeah,
I ate a lot of McDonald's. Like number one was the Big Mac. Number two was the cheeseburgers. Number three was a quarter pounder with cheese. Right? Like I was in the game. I was in the game. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a square here. I
Yeah.
was in the game.
Yeah.
I played Monopoly.
What
on
was
the
your
back of a
What was your
McDonald's.
go-to?
I think I just like the Big Mac. I think the Big Mac.
You
Was,
like your classic Big
yeah,
Mac?
just
See,
give me a number one supersize.
I wanted double quarter pounder with cheese.
I mean, that's
Oh,
you can't go wrong.
or a
put it-
20 piece. Those
all
are the two go.
Yeah, or
I
I
do
would
remember
even-
when I found out you could get 20 pieces of chicken. I was like, wait, you can get 20?
Game
Because it was like
changer.
3 and 5 when I was younger, I think, or maybe 5
That's
and
what
7.
that's just what your mom told you.
And I was like, wait, you
She
can
was
get
she had really gotten to 20 and just threw
Yeah,
three.
she was divvying them up between me and my sister, making us fight for them. She was. I remember when I was like, "You can get fucking 20 of these things." Like,
Yeah.
what? Yeah, that was. And then what was the one they used to do like
McRib. Can
I
we
don't-
talk
did
about
they
the
have the
McRib
Never
for a
had.
second?
Never had.
That
I've
thing only
never had a
comes out. I'm
McRib.
like, what is in a McRib? Like, it must be like,
it's not
like
rib meat.
what are they hard? It's like unicorn meat. They can only find it every so often when they go to Narnia.
It's
So they-
it's cicada
so
meat.
do I
Every-
only,
every
yeah, it only
7
comes
years
over.
they
Yeah,
get
exactly.
ground up
It's-
cicada.
Yeah,
ones.
the Lion, the Witch, and the very large wardrobe.
Yes, that's what you'll need.
You're gonna
after.
need you're gonna need a belt on that bad boy.
I didn't care for the Shamrock Shake. I was never a Shamrock Shake guy.
I by then I was already kind of out. I was on my way out, so like
Yeah, I
I
was
was.
like, you're not a McDonald's.
Did you ever have the
guy, right?
pies?
I mean, single
yeah.
mom, so
Oh
we
my
ate a
God.
lot of fast food.
Oh, those pies.
Those weren't a thing I always like. That wasn't a thing I always thought of. And they had cookies too. Oh, you remember this?
Yeah,
They had
no,
cookies
yeah.
too. But like, that never appealed to me. I'm a savory guy.
Yeah.
I was there for the meats. I was like,
Well, like when you're
Arby's.
younger, McDonald's, like where I grew up, McDonald's was the spot. You were like going to go to McDonald's and see who was there. And like, I don't know, it's probably not like that anymore.
How do you feel about
No,
Arby's?
it's like that.
I used to like Arby's. I don't eat any fast food, man. Now I'm totally out of the game.
No, but like
telling
what
you.
you
Don't eat
when I
any fast
remember, well, Arby's has changed too. But I'll never forget. We had an old school Arby's with the big hat,
Yeah.
and when you would look, it was like
Jamochas?
open kitchen kind of thing. And you looked in the middle, it was a bunch of slicers actually slicing the roast
actually
beef.
working.
And now
Yeah.
you know it's coming packaged. You know what I mean?
Totally.
It's coming.
Well, I
packaged.
do. You know, I fuck with Chipotle. I like Chipotle.
I had never been. I was there
Okay.
recently.
The Chipotle's good. I like Naf Naf Grill.
I'm sorry.
Naf Naf Grill. It's like Chipotle, but it's like like falafel and
All right.
gyros and shit like that. Baba ganoush and all that stuff. Those are the closest I get to fast food now.
That's
the-
cool.
the
That's
closest-
good. That's those are
Yeah.
those are like because you have to, even if you're someone that's eating really healthy. And I will say I'm on my 7th day of eating clean.
Great news.
Of just like those kind of things, like where you're like, oh, if I'm gonna have a starch, it's got to be like quinoa, brown rice, lentils.
There you
It should
go.
be something like
How's-
that.
Tell me about so you're on this eating clean journey.
So keeping it simple, yeah, because I'm the guy. Like, listen, I have lost and gained thousands of pounds in my life, and I've done it all. We're talking Richard Simmons deal a meal back in the day, like cabbage soup diet, you name it. I've done it, and the only thing that ever really worked is just 4 to 5 small meals a day where you're just doing like a protein and veggie for most of them.
Yeah, that's
so like
pretty
what I
much it.
started doing now, so like I'll get the girls up and then their bus comes at 8. I take a walk for a half hour and listen to a podcast, come back at 8:30, and now what I started doing, steel cut oats,
All
which
right.
I haven't mastered the recipe because when I looked at the water to that ratio, it's not what it says on the thing. It says
Well,
half a cup, a quarter cup, quarter
We're
cup.
in the minutia, dude. We're up in it right
doesn't
now.
do it. It doesn't do it. But then I put a little blueberries, frozen blueberries in there
Okay.
because I can't. It's trash. It's like I'm eating. It's like the Matrix
Steel cut oats?
when you're
Oh,
eating
when he's like,
when they're
it's just
in,
straight
when they're
slop.
eating
Yeah,
the real
yeah,
food
yeah,
in the,
yeah,
in
it's
the when they're
shit,
not
shit.
in the Matrix. And
Honey's
you're just
good.
like,
You throw
this
honey
is
in there? I
trash.
used to put honey
So
in
I
there.
didn't throw. I didn't want to do it. So I was like, I'll put if I'm going to sweeten it up, I'll throw some frozen like
Yeah.
fruit. So I threw blueberries, but then I do egg whites with one yolk. So I probably do like 3
Good.
egg whites, one
That's a good
yolk,
breakfast.
and then a Morningstar veggie sausage patty in the air fryer.
Okay.
So then
that's
it's
cool.
like, and that's like my biggest meal of the day. And then after that, it's like every 4 hours, it's like, I have a bunch of these little chicken things from Costco. They're just chicken breast cut up, pre-portioned,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like 3-ounce servings. And so I just grab one of those. I grab broccoli florets, throw them in the steam bag, mix them up with some hot sauce, and then
There you
that's
go.
pretty much in
Healthy
between.
living. You guys, we've all been on the car rides together. You've seen me scramble at a gas station looking for something decent.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now it's like we have to. what,
God,
what are your go-tos?
Fuck, man. Fruit. If they have fruit in there, that's great. Probably like a protein drink of some sort. I do like beef jerky, but there's a lot of sodium in the beef jerky. But I do like to eat.
Well, that's
beef
what
jerky.
like
And it
with
stinks.
but with the fruit though, I'm thinking like all the extra the extra sugar. So I'm like almonds. I'm like my go-to
Almonds are
would be
good,
like
yeah.
go right to the almonds. The other day I had to go out. We were at Sheets, and I'm like, oh, I was in the middle. So I'm like, all right, I got to eat because I hadn't eaten. I didn't plan that far out. We were gone for like 6 hours, and so I grabbed beef jerky. I was like, all right, I grabbed beef jerky. I grabbed a thing of almonds, and then I got a grilled chicken on a salad from the
okay, that's a
made
win.
to order. And
That's
I
a
was
win.
like, all right, that's great. The worst was the salad dressing, but I rationed it. Like I only used half of it. And like, if you put a little bit on, then you put it in the container and you really shake it. And then you just drizzle a little bit more on top. It's perfect.
Are you modeling this, right? Like, are you like talking about it and like putting on not a show, but are you letting your kids see that you're like,
Yeah, so they're
eating this
seeing.
good
Yeah,
food
so they're
and, like,
seeing. Yeah, absolutely.
okay. That's a
'Cause,
big
you know,
one.
you
That's a
want to
huge
do
one.
that now. Like my youngest she's malleable. She'll move. Like my wife's got her eating sushi now.
Nice. That's a score. That's tough. Fish. The raw fish.
Now Amanda loves the sashimi.
Yeah.
But
kids probably
Katie's
don't.
like California roll as
Yeah, okay.
far as she's
Well,
willing
that's
to go.
so crunchy.
But,
You really can't tell. There's like thing in there. That's a good.
well, and that
starter.
one's not. Yeah, that's not one of the tempura or the fried
No,
ones.
no,
It's just
no.
the. But you're right. It's like those kind of things are.
Well, that's a texture that a young person, unless they be kid, I don't like my sister. Her kids have had sushi when they were young, so it's normal for them. But like to get someone 6, 7, 8, and be like, here, eat. That's a texture that will be really tough for them at a young age. They will.
it can be.
They will almost like
Right.
send that back out. Like,
I don't urge parents to do this because I think I told you about my nephews where it's like where kids start to do like, I just want chicken nuggets and buttery noodles.
Yeah.
My nephews all went the other way. Like my 2 very growing nephews from my poor sister were like, no, we love sushi. And now every birthday it's like $200.
Because they got a boat of sushi. They got 3
just
sushi
to
boats
them.
coming. Wow.
Yeah. Like they'll push sushi.
Yeah.
Our
so-
thing is we offer. I'll always offer whenever we're out at a restaurant or we're somewhere or I'm getting like salmon. Like I just cooked up a bunch of salmon before I came here, and I'm like, I'll always offer it when I'm there. Now, when some of them were really young, they would eat it no problem.
they're
But
not.
now
Yeah.
it's
a
salmon's of
maybe.
all of the fish. Salmon for me because I'm not a huge fish eater, but that's one that I can do all day. So I get the
Salmon
big
is
slab,
good.
and then I just sectioned it off, and I did some in like a foil tent, which I know the foil's not the best, but it helps like poach
Keep
it. I
it-
put like a little dill
Yeah,
and lemon.
you're fine. Don't. I mean,
But then I did pan fried the other sections, and I'm like, and so I'll offer it to them all week now because that'll be one of my
But they don't
this
eat it.
week's proteins will be salmon since I basically took down every chicken
love
that
fish.
was
If you
in
like
the
salmon that way,
area.
you can get cook-in bags. Like you can
Like a
get,
sous vide?
yeah.
yeah, it was bougie.
What?
Yes. Sous vide. It's like
Sous
it's like a
vide.
bag, and you put it in like
It's
the
like- it's
temperature
basically
water.
your-
How am
like-
I the bougie one? I didn't even know what it was.
No, he's
Yeah.
the bougie one. I
That's very
don't have one of those fucking things.
I didn't know what
But
that
you're pretty
was.
much like cooking it, almost like boiling it in a bag.
Because it keeps the moisture in,
And
and
the
you have
carcinogens,
huge
right?
margin
There's
of
no
error.
carcinogens.
Like it's
You
not.
can't
as,
burn
like,
it because it'll never go above the temperature of the water. So you could
Right.
cook something all day long. It'll never go above 108,
Right.
whatever the water is.
Got you.
Now we eat a lot of fish. We eat a lot of fish.
I mean, I don't mind
Mediterranean.
tilapia.
Love the trout, sea bass.
See
tuna.
that
we love
well,
that.
isn't that expensive, sea bass?
It is. It is. But okay, we don't drink much at all. So the money that we would put into like a dinner with
How much do you think
drinks,
Keystone
two
Lights
drinks.
cost? What do you think a Keystone Light can of beer costs?
I don't know. Well,
Costs a lot. 'Cause
but we don't drink. But
Yeah.
there's people who spend $200
you're right. You're
a
right.
week drinking.
Yeah.
We don't drink. So for us to, and Sammy, my wife is probably the cleanest eater you would ever come across in your fucking life.
I would imagine.
She can't. She won't even. She doesn't give in. She's like, I'm not gonna eat it.
My buddy who I train with, a great friend of mine. Oh, can you pull up Instagram if you have a chance? Look up Paul Winterbottom. And so this is a guy. Now I've been going to the gym 3 days a week now.
It's a fun name.
Okay.
I'm
great.
sorry.
Yeah,
laughed at
I've
the
known
name.
this guy most of my life. I've known
Paul
him forever.
Winterbottom is
He is the most amazing human being. Like just a human being. He works at the Boys and Girls Club in Potts. He's known, and Pottstown's a rough town. This guy is like Superman there. He's just got a great spirit about him. He works at the Boys and Girls Club, which works for all the underprivileged youth. And it's like a predominantly black area. He's a white guy, and
I'm trying to look like this dude.
he commands. Well, he's the one that like we talk a lot. He's taught me everything I know about fitness and health. He's taught me.
Well,
over the
he is a
last
black
20
dude, isn't he?
years. What's that?
There's a picture right there. There's a white dude and a black.
Yeah, well, yeah, because
dude.
he works in an
So
area where
but
it's
he's a black dude?
90% black, but he's white.
Oh, he's a white dude. Okay.
But it's not about color. Like his personality
I'm
and
sure
his
it's not.
spirit is so good, and he's such a good human, and everybody knows he's there for them. And he runs all these free programs for the kids. He gets the kids like in there working out.
So you train with this guy.
Yeah, so that's
Nice.
who I work
so
out
you,
with.
Like you and him work out side by side, or
So
he teaches, tells you what
like
to do.
he's
your
there
trainer.
because he's there, and I just go, and then he'll like say, "Hey, do this, and
Nice.
this."
Nice.
So, but he trains people professionally. That's
sure he
part of
does.
what he does.
So
but yeah.
you are like, because you haven't always been working out.
I've always worked
you have?
out. I've
Okay.
always been like really since COVID. Before COVID, I was like, anybody who's only known me since I've done comedy doesn't know that side of me. But yeah, before that,
Okay.
I was like,
All right.
probably.
He was a husky boy. I think I remember you.
I was
pulling
like
up a
100
picture.
pounds less normally.
Yeah.
A little yoked, right? That's right.
Yeah.
He was a little.
He's got this
He
stroller.
had
He's
the
looking a
I
little-
wrestled in college
Yes.
body. You know what I
Yes,
mean? I know that was
exactly.
baseball.
So you're
for you.
you're going on into a new like
So just getting back
a different
to it.
chapter.
Yeah,
better
as we're
chapter,
trying
okay.
to get, which is great. I
I
mean,
think it's good for your kids to see that.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and my kids same way. Like we really try to model this. Like I think you'll probably attest to it. It's not that hard once you get going, even with the meal prep and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not- at first it's like, whoa, I got to make all this food. I got to do that. I got to clean up. After you get in the groove, not that difficult.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
that difficult.
the other thing too is like for me personally, it's like there's a sickness to it. There's like not like an allergy almost is what I would call it, where it's like you know it's never gonna be easy. And it's just always going to be something I have to think
task.
about. Yeah, like even today, like we went to a family party before this, and I went there, and I knew I was going to eat there, so I ate really clean this morning. So like my second meal was just a cup of almond milk with like protein powder, a banana, and some strawberries blended up with some ice to make it kind of like a milkshake. Like,
Okay.
And so I was like, I had that, and then I had the steel cut oats and the egg this morning, and then I'm like, all right, because I know I'm going to go there, but I knew it was going to be proteins, pulled pork, chicken. So I just grabbed some meats, grabbed some fruit, but then like I had my plate, and I was like, normally I would have gone back up. I would have gotten like a burger with the bun and cheese, and then I would have tried to have at least 2 burgers. And there's always this pull after I was full and I was done, but I went back in to get a bottle of water, and I like instantly went back over near the food. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't hungry. I was
It's
done, but
just
like
instinctually,
my
like,
body
that's
was
what-
magnetized to go back
gravitated
over
towards-
there. And next thing you know, there's a chip in my mouth. And I'm like, what
well,
the hell?
I think
How did
your
that
body
happen?
probably there's comfort over there for you.
But you know
right?
what I mean?
There's
Like-
comfort over there. So your body just is like, we're going
Yes.
where we seek comfort. Like all that stuff makes us happy, makes us feel good. Because that's what happens when you eat. I mean, it's just chemical reaction, just things going in your body. And your body's like, we really like that stuff. And you like just like veered over and then just straightened it out.
But you
That's
have
good,
to make
man.
it. You have to make it a priority. You can't be passive. We have to be active.
Yeah.
So like I have to know when I'm leaving the house. Like, oh, okay, when am I going to be back? Do I need to take something with me? Do I need, what
Where
I mean?
am I gonna
Like,
be? Will I be
where's
able to
my
get
next
something to
meal?
eat if
Like,
I'm out here?
I
Yeah.
can't just be. I can't just say like I would like because what's going to happen is I used to have a joke that I did. I was like, I was treating my body like a credit card that I had no intention of paying off. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm just putting it on there. And that's what happened during COVID. I was working the 2 jobs, 15 hours a day. I thought I was saving the world of education. I was like Supermaning it out.
Yeah.
And I did it at my own expense. So then all of a sudden I had to be, I haven't eaten. It's been 15 hours. And then like a raccoon, I would just go like tearing
Go
through
get
the
that number
pantry.
one.
Oh yeah,
Go
so old
McDonald's.
fries,
All the
Snickers,
terrible
and
stuff
just getting at
at the wrong. It wasn't even just the wrong times and
Wrong
the
stuff, wrong
chemistry of it was terrible.
It'd be interesting to see the rates of like even doctors and teachers because I worked through COVID just for the like we were off the 2 weeks and then I did. But I was thinking about this recently, especially given my ex at the time was in law enforcement, so she was working. Just realizing like the averages of like doctors. You know, we already knew that doctors smoked higher than they would. Their health was actually caused because it's so stressful of a job.
Yeah.
So like emergency room doctors.
Right.
The same thing for teachers. I started to think of after COVID how many teachers and doctors were just like rocked.
Yeah.
It's physically and mentally, you know,
It
like
comes to two things: decision fatigue. Because as an educator, as a doctor, as a police officer, you are constantly making nonstop decisions. Like the number of decisions, there's some weird statistic on the number of decisions a teacher makes in a day is like astronomical. And so then you get home and then you're like, now I got to think about dinner. Now I got to think about what am I going to have. Now I got to think about prepping it. Like, oh, what am I? And so it's all of those extra. I had spent all of my like currency of myself on other people. And so when it came to me, it was just like, all right, we'll just DoorDash something. And it wasn't like, or, you know, it was all of those that are,
even
1,500.
Edutopia, just even as the first
1,500
pull up.
decisions per day.
Yeah.
And so then you got to come home and make decisions for your own family and your own
that's the
kid.
thing. And then having
you're
the
burnt
family is
out.
like,
and you've
it's
spent
tough.
all of your best energy there. And that's the problem. You should be able to be a good teacher and a good parent. Like there's but it starts with us. Like, here's the problem. The system is set up to just milk the hell out of you. And then if you say you can't do something, but it's for the kids. And that's the problem.
This is the world of teachers or do you think that's the world of teachers or world of everybody?
Well, and I think part of it, but I know within the education system, if you're a teacher, then you're expected to do all this extra stuff for free.
Right. That is 100% true. It's like, but you can't just do this one more thing.
Just
You
do
can't
this,
one
write
more
this
thing.
under a
Doctors with
recommendation,
patients.
Right,
write
doctors with
this, chaperone this dance.
Educators with students. Yeah. It's there's a little
Run
bit
this
of that
club.
guilt.
I mean, corporate America's the same fucking way. You work in corporate, it's always like if you're doing really well, they add to your responsibilities. And there's always something going. I was in the fucking corporate workforce since out of college till a couple years ago. There's always something extra that had to be done.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, there's this get together, there's that together, there's this training assignment, and it's like, fuck. And I always hated like the training or the meetings because that's like the worst fucking food.
True.
And that's when you're like, you're in classes, you're like, you should be getting some, because we're talking about like the testing and stuff.
Yeah.
You're in like these breakouts and you're in lectures and you're asking questions and you're doing like fucking, not skits, but like you're role plays and shit. If you're in sales or
Sure.
something. And then it's like, man, I need something. I'm hungry. And then you go out there and it's like gummy bears.
Sure.
Fucking Starburst.
Starburst.
You know, all that shit. And it's like, God damn, I love Starburst.
You do? I don't like any of that stuff because
So you don't have a sweet
your
tooth.
teeth.
That's good. You don't have a sweet tooth.
I don't have a sweet tooth. Yeah, this body was not built by sweets.
But
Yeah.
it's funny. You always, I'm always have those flossers in my fucking mouth because
that's why. Now I know
if
why.
I eat sweets, it's stuck.
Jay
into my
pointed
teeth.
out a big thing that I've encountered with other people going on different weight loss journeys and stuff. As a big guy who impulsively eats and was a bigger guy, and like, dude, I felt the same way. As soon as you said, like, I just found myself near the table, my mother was like, put this in your mouth. We are all going to die. Like,
Yeah,
she's
right?
just, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's just what was in me. So I'm the same way. But the big thing that I found was like getting on top of the sweet tooth because afterwards, you know, ice cream, things like that are so good. Where it was fruit being like what is widely used in other parts of the world, which I know you know,
Yes.
as a dessert. And we're all like,
right.
fruit, you have fruit, that's it? That's all you have is fruit?
right.
Ew.
Fuck you, I'm never
Gross.
going back here. Yeah, fuck.
Because those, you know, sucrose and glucose, they're breaking down differently in your body. That's not high fructose corn syrup that's in Snickers and stuff.
Yes.
Where it's so funny how Snickers is like, right, you're hungry. Hungry?
Yeah.
You just fed me how many empty calories when I could have
and
them?
they're fucking tiny.
And so my
I mean,
mom,
they're good.
So here's the problem: my daughter spends so much time with my mom. My mom's gonna listen to this, and she'll be so mad.
oh boy.
But like and she's an older woman. She's fine. Health wise, she's in a good shape for where she should be at her age. Right. She should, you do you, boo. But my daughter spends a lot of time with her, and she's having last night. She's like, "Oh, can you go grab me Jolly Ranchers and butterscotch crimpets?" And then she drinks Arizona iced tea.
Oh man.
And so it's just how do you? And she's fine. It works, but I don't. But then my daughter gets that taste, and once you get that taste, it's like you can't. I'll never. She always had iced tea in the house. And it was so bad because that's what you're saying earlier, the Capri Suns, the chocolate milk. My taste was, it's like if you're an addict to something and now they're trying to give you fruit, what they're trying to do with the Capri Sun and chocolate milk is kind of like they're trying to make it, what they put in there, far less sugar. Yeah. But I forget what it is. There's something that, when sugar hits the way it hits your brain.
It's like cocaine.
It's like that cocaine.
It's like
that cocaine, right?
It is, but I've seen videos where they've talked about how the brain lights up under an MRI.
Yeah.
Dude, sugar is there's a lot of comfort, and there's a lot of comfort in food, a lot of comfort in sugar. You know what I mean? So yeah, I worked with a guy. He was addicted to sugar. We would have stressful moments or things would get rough. He would verbalize, "I need sugar."
Right.
He would get up. He would get in his car, drive to a Wawa, come back with all the fucking sugar. And I like the sweet shit, like the Sour Patch Kids and stuff.
Yeah.
And I would get upset because I would start eating it also. Right. And but yeah, he was addicted to sugar. So when he got stressed out, that's like when people are addicted to cigarettes. They get stressed out and they want to go smoke.
It's a way of coping.
It was the same exact thing.
Drugs, food, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, when you come to diet though, if you go like I try to eat 80-20. Because you're not going to be perfect, right?
No.
Like Sammy probably eats 98 too. She is. I mean, but 80 because I know I'm going to I know I'm going to be on the road and I'm at the Betsy Ross rest stop on the Turnpike and there's nothing in there for me to really eat. So I know I'm going to probably have to eat a bag of chips or something to get calories. I know that maybe we go out and grab beers and maybe there's some way. I get that. But if you can do 80-20, you'll be pretty fucking good.
Yeah. And if now it's all right, if I'm going to go out, then it's I'm going to do the Truly seltzers or club soda with some vodka, but only 2. Right. No more than 2. So if I'm out at Joel's or wherever and I'm just all right, I'm going to be here for a couple hours. I want a drink. I'm going to have one of the seltzers and, just be mindful of that. Because you're right. You can't do all or nothing either.
You can't do it.
Because, I've done these a million. The only time it works is when you find something that works for you, something you're comfortable with, and something that's easy to manage and easy.
Well, you fuck with the air fryer. You like the air fryer?
Love that. I have 2 of them. You kidding me?
Okay. I didn't love the air fryer.
Some people have 2-car garages, baby. Got 2 air fryers.
I didn't like the air fryer, but I think it may be because someone tried to make falafel in an air fryer.
That's a bad move.
And that just comes out as a dried up ball of garlic and it just was disgusting. And one bite and I was like, never again. And I'm probably shortchanging myself because everyone swears by the air fryer.
Yeah. It's great because you can do so many things with it.
That's what everyone says.
It's so versatile. I did Brussels sprouts. So the other day,
fryer, boom.
I quartered because they were the really.
We need a little stinger
ones.
for Chef Jay Yoder.
Yeah.
You come in and I just tighten it up on you.
Yeah, right.
Today we're going to be making a little something.
I just put a little bit. I just rub them down with some olive oil. Nothing crazy. Just rub them down. And then I did actually, you know what I like to do? I'll do a little garlic salt on them, put them in, and then towards the end, I sprinkle a little everything bagel seasoning.
Nice. Oh, this guy gets okay.
But I did them in the air fryer so much faster. It's the time saver, and it was not. It was just as good. I love roasting them in the oven, but that takes 40 minutes.
No, it's if you're out there and you're thinking about doing other stuff, use the air fryer appropriately, and it will save you so much time on meal prep.
Yeah,
it is just the quickest, best tasting meal prep and the fastest.
But even stuff like the girls, because we get our daughters are eating the typical stuff: hot dogs, chicken, processed chicken nuggets. Sure. But even if they're frozen, we forgot to take out hot dogs. Air fryer, instant, done.
When I worked in corporate America, when I was going to the office, I had my breakfast set up where I could wake up, go downstairs, put 3 pieces of bacon on this pan, 2 eggs on this pan, go back upstairs, shower, brush my teeth, get about 80% ready, come down, flip the bacon, turn the eggs off, go back upstairs, finish
No,
it, come
first
back
off,
down.
no.
I would eat
What-
and I would
no,
roll
this
out.
is like
Hold on,
that
wait,
scene
let
out
him
of
finish,
Now.
'cause
and I would-
I want to be able to clip this cleanly. Go ahead.
and I would roll out, and that I got it down to science. But dude, I committed to that. Like that was what I was doing. I
Do you have
committed to that
kids?
shit.
Well, you didn't have kids in
I
the
didn't have
house
kids
at
then.
that time.
I didn't have kids then. I was
Because
doing
I'm
that.
just picturing him just being like, all right, go. And then
Impossible. It's like
I would be freaking
Dude, it's not,
out.
first of all, I don't live in a very large house.
Right.
I walked downstairs, I knew the temperatures.
Right.
I knew how long it was going to take me to do everything I had to do. It worked.
Dude,
But-
you ate like the Equalizer, like Denzel Jones.
I never saw that, but yeah, that's
Okay, well, that reference is lost
Me
on
and
this
Denzel have not a lot in common, but I'll take that one. I mean,
It's like Mr. Tipton guy was making grits and my cousin Vinny. Are you sure about that 20 minutes?
Are you sure about that 20 minutes?
it's, like,
Are you-
it's like, it takes the rest of the grit eating world 40 minutes.
Yeah.
but I do like the concept of, as a parent, like really trying to instill that on the kids, right? Because well, first of all, there's a couple things as a parent. One, we got to be around for as long as we can, and it's got to be healthy. You got to be able to run. You got to dance. You're probably gonna have to dance at 2 weddings. I'll probably have to dance at 2 weddings, let alone pay for 2 weddings, right? I mean, that's what we do as parents. So you got to be there, and then you also have to like show them, because they're going to be parents. They're going to have families too, and they have to be. So it's a really important thing that like you're like, yo, try to eat the right food, maybe a little less sugar, maybe take 1 handful instead of 2. Start now.
And you can't do it with them though. Like that's a hard thing.
No,
with
you have
kids.
to
like,
do it
you
with the
can't,
support
So
team.
you have to
Yeah.
be the model and just let that.
And you have
sort
to
of
talk to
be.
the other adults, right? You have to talk to maybe your mom or your in-laws and say, hey, maybe instead of doing that, can you just do these instead?
Yeah.
You know, and then they have to
Well,
be
even
on
that,
board.
it's like that's like that's even that's out of our control.
That's
Like, I
extreme.
can't-
That's extremely difficult. to
You know,
get
like
them
my
to do
mom, I
that.
can't
Yeah.
change my mom's
No,
habit.
she
My
didn't do
mom's
that.
gonna do what she's doing.
No.
But like so now but now I just have to be around, because then if I'm around, then I'm the one
Who's in
taking
charge
care
of
of
it,
it. So
yeah.
then that's why like breakfast I get to, because breakfast, like my one daughter, she was making her 2 Eggo waffles. She's making her 2 Eggo waffles and like 2 strips of bacon or whatever. And I'm like, 2 Eggo waffles? Like, why
Damn.
are you making her 2 Eggo waffles?
will suffice.
And so when I do it, I do 1, and she
She
doesn't
doesn't
say
even
anything,
notice.
and
She
she's
doesn't-
fine.
she doesn't even
Well, I
notice.
noticed 1. She almost threw the 1 away because I had been making only 1, so she
Oh.
she was only
So
eating
that
1. Now
was
my
a
my
typo.
oldest is like, she's tall and thin, so like no big deal. But like my younger one, she's short and stocky like me, so I'm like, I want her eating well. I don't. She's got genetics going against
Yeah,
her, so
the genetics are a
I
big
want
deal.
her. But it's really about. I was gonna say earlier, it's even not even about the food, because I know the chemistry. It's all that. Sometimes it's just about being able to like know how to process your feelings and emotions, because that's what happens.
Yeah.
Like that guy who needed sugar.
Yeah.
Like if you don't take time to take your own inventory of yourself mentally, then it's going to manifest that way. So if you're a drinker, you're going to drink.
You're gonna drink,
If
you're
you're
gonna smoke,
someone
you're
who's
gonna eat.
you're going to smoke more. You're going to eat more. You're going to do whatever.
Physically
we're all doing
act
stuff.
out,
We're all
right?
doing stuff to cope with the world around us. And you know what? You got to learn how to feel your feelings.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing, is to recognize are you hungry, or are you eating, smoking, drinking? Are you drinking to be social? Or
Yeah.
are you doing it because you don't want to think about X, Y, or Z?
And I remember like when I think about it as a parent, like being around and being healthy. I remember playing basketball with kids and going to the games and stuff, and there'd be a kid's 14 years old and his mom's got like an air oxygen tank or is in a wheelchair. Now, some of that could be tough times, right? Maybe a disease
Or that could be
something.
something medically,
Yeah,
or
it could
whatever.
just be you have cancer or something. I don't know what it was, but anything can happen. But the other thing is like if you just like brought yourself to a very unhealthy place, and you got like a 15-year-old kid and now they are taking care of you, and they're like trying to go to school and be social and play basketball and this, and a big portion of their life is actually taking care of a sick parent.
Yep.
I would want to do everything in my power to avoid being someone's sick parent, especially at a young age.
You're right. That's it. So you either take your health seriously now, or you're going to have to deal with
Yeah.
the consequences. It's going to be dictated to you.
Yeah.
At least now it's on your terms. And
you
so
go.
for anybody like myself who's digging themselves out of a hole that they've gotten into, it's just like a messy room. You start in the one corner and you take it one step at a time, and you don't try to do too much. give yourself a little grace and flexibility when things throw you a curveball, but you guys got to be proactive, and I just got to save my decisions. I got to know that I have decisions that have to be made for me so that I can be healthy, because if I'm not healthy, I can't be the teacher, I can't be the dad, I can't be the coach.
No.
And so that's got to be priority. So we all just got to make ourselves our priority. It's like the airplane. If you're going to you got to put on your oxygen mask before you put on the other one. And I'm telling you, if that bag doesn't inflate, I don't think there's any oxygen. I know they tell you that.
They tell you
but I
there's
don't
oxygen
believe
going
that.
in
I
there.
don't
They tell
believe
you.
it. I hope I never find out.
Yeah, really.
Well, I don't know, man. I think so. That's what my ending note would be. I hope that if anybody else is out there, that they just take one step at a time. You do your deal. You do what's good for you, and you walk the walk, and you be the change you want to see in the world.
There you go.
Seriously, Dad?
Seriously?
Thank you for listening to the dads, for once. Give these daddies a break. And maybe follow, subscribe, like, and comment to the dads on Instagram and YouTube at Seriously Dad Pod. Rate and review Seriously Dad Podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, and everywhere you get your podcasts.
Seriously, Dad?
How you doing? This is Neil Wood from the Cult of Us podcast, speaking on behalf of Drop 10 Media Network, the network you're currently listening to. Make sure to check out all the other podcasts on the network. You can go to drop10.com to check them all out. Make sure to like, subscribe on everything that you see Drop 10 on. We appreciate it. Go to drop10.com now.
This has been a Drop 10 Media Production.